How's everybody doing?
Good. How about yourself?
Doing well. Doing well. It's a good day.
How's this going so far?
This is going well. You know, we've got a great turnout. Obviously, a ton of local talent here. You know, and the thing that I've always stressed about these types of events is I'm going to come in with an open mind. You know, it's a clean slate for everybody. You know, no matter where you played, no matter how long it's been since you've played, today's a great opportunity for everybody. It's a great opportunity for our staff to kind of get to know each other as well. So it's a good day for us.
You're a talent evaluator, so even in this kind of like cattle call where everybody's kind of gunning for one thing, no one knows each other, what do you look for?
The thing that I told these guys at the beginning of the tryout was just be yourself. You know, as it relates to our roster, you know, we're kind of looking for some guys that can play multiple positions, some guys that can defend multiple positions, which is always important. But I just wanted guys to be themselves. I didn't want anybody to come out here and try to be John Wall or Brad Pitt. We already got those. We wanted those guys to come in and be confident in their skill set, no matter what it is, you know, and that's ultimately how you're going to make a team. You're not going to make a team trying to be anybody other than yourself. So what I've seen today, guys are putting their best foot forward. You can tell some guys are a little bit out of shape, but so far it's been good. It's been a great experience for everybody, I believe.
A lot of players here. What's the evaluation process like? I'm assuming you guys are filming this. I mean, maybe that's a dumb question.
Yeah, we are filming it. You know, we've got lots of coaches at each basket. Myself and our GM, Pops Mensamansu, everybody knows him. He's doing a great job of evaluating as well. We're trying to bounce from court to court. But at the conclusion of this, you know, we're all going to take our notes, combine them, and figure out who we want to have to invite to camp, to our training camp in a few weeks. And that's kind of the process that it goes. But again, some guys that we may not pick for our camp, or may not take from this event itself, we'll at least be able to see those guys during the G League draft. So that way, if they are in the draft in a few years, we at least have familiarity with them, and we can kind of go that way. But it's a great point for everybody to kind of get in front of all of us, you know, and it starts to build that relationship.
How many people do you want to take from this experience to training camp? How many people are you looking for? 4, 5, 3? How many?
Yeah, we can take up to 4 from this event to our training camp. You know, so 4 is a great opportunity. You know, we've got over 100 guys that we're going to lay eyes on today. So, as you guys know, it's going to be very competitive, as you guys can see. But by the law, we're able to take 4 to camp with us. Again, it's not saying they're going to make the team, but you know, this is an opportunity for those guys that wasn't necessarily here in previous years. So, we're here for the people. We're here to provide that opportunity for the environment.
This is our chance, and I think for a lot of people's chance, the first time to lay eyes on the building itself. What stands out to you about this place?
It's beautiful. You know, it's a state-of-the-art facility. You know, they've done a great job of organizing it and structuring it. And as you can tell, that it's very meticulous with some of the way the way it's laid out. You know, from one court to the next. You know, you can tell that it was very detailed plan, which is why it's taken a little bit of time. But you know, our ownership, they want to make sure things are perfect before people can put eyes on it. You know, we've got a great team that are trying to put us in different areas of the facility, if that makes any sense. You know, because obviously once the Go-Go's start, the Wizards are going to be in season, so the Wizards are going to have their locker room, and the Go-Go's are going to have a separate area for our locker room as well. So there's a few nuances that go into this building that's going to be functional for all of us.
What did you want to have here in this building for you and your team?
Yeah, I want it to be a great environment. You know, I think the arena itself, you know, 4,000 seat arena, is going to provide a great G League environment. I think we'll be able to hopefully sell out a ton of games, you know, and bring a lot of excitement, a lot of energy to the community, to the neighborhood. And with that being said, you know, I think the acoustics in that gym, as you can hear, they're going to be great. You know, so we're going to get our fans involved, and they're going to feel like they're right on the court, like they're a part of the action itself.
From your perspective, how do you have the players keep their focus on playing for your G League team as opposed to the focus constantly being on what do I need to do to make that next step to the NBA?
Yeah, you hit it. You know, I never want the focus to be, you know, personally, I never want the focus to be on me. It's always about the players. And I think that's kind of a trickle-down effect. You know, I think the focus needs to be on them and their development, no matter where you are. You know, there are guys in the NBA that need to develop. There are guys in the G League that need to develop. So if you can just focus on the development aspect, you're going to get the best version of yourself possible.
as far as like the pools of talented players, you had the expansion draft that you all, that was one pool of players, and then this is another pool. What other avenues will you all take to kind of fill out the rest of the roster?
Yeah, so we have our two-way guys, you know, and Devin Robinson and Jordan McRae. We've got our Exhibit 10 guys, you know, and that's where Chase and Randall comes into play. Tywan Kinley, who's a local guy, you know, everybody loves Ty. You know, and those are just some of the ways that we can shape our roster. The next part we can do, obviously, is a draft that we have coming up in a few weeks. So that's pretty much how you kind of get your roster set. And from there, you know, obviously we get some trades. But one thing that the expansion draft really did for us was we were able to get some pieces that we could trade. We were able to get some assets, you know, and that's Scott, Schroeder, and Pops again have done a great job kind of pulling some strings and making sure that we're going to be in a pretty good situation moving forward. You know, so with this event, you know, with the two ways, with the Exhibit 10s, we've got a pretty good bunch of guys on our roster that we feel comfortable with. You know, and once the G League draft comes around, it's just another pool that we can pull some guys from, and hopefully make our roster a little bit more complete.
Have Jordan and Devin participated in some of the kind of mini workouts that's happening right now on campus?
They're basically the way I see it. You know, those guys that are in Wizards camp, those two-way guys, I don't want to have anything to do with them until our season starts. You know, I want those guys to enjoy that experience. You know, for those guys like Ty Kinley, you know, it's his first time going through a NBA training camp. You know, I don't want to take that experience from him. So they've been very involved with the Wizards and very incorporated in what they're doing over there. And again, one of the things that we've talked about the most was just being inclusive with each other. You know, things that we're trying to do, we're trying to mimic that of the Wizards. You know, so with that being said, our coaching staff has been over there a ton, myself included, and just building relationships with the Wizards staff, and I think that's really important. And the more that our staff can be aligned with what's important and what we value, I think it's just going to directly benefit our players.
This is a unique event, and there's a fairy tale aspect to it, obviously. So how cognizant are you to 99% of the guys here? I'm going to be the one to end that dream for them.
Yeah, it's a unique question. You know, there's some things in life called reality. You know, and I think one of the things that we've done today, we've done a really good job of making it competitive. And I know in some other tryouts, there's been the guy that showed up that was born in the 50s and he had his Chuck Taylors on. He was just trying to get one more go at it, you know. And I think those players kind of weed themselves naturally.
Yeah.
And I think by the end of it, you know, if you're a realistic person, you know, you kind of know what's going on from here. But from this event, you know, our front office will communicate to the players and their agents. And we'll try to be in touch with those guys sooner than later. But the likelihood of a lot of those guys making it, you know, isn't very high. So like I said, we're hoping to pull at least four guys, a maximum of 4 guys to our camp. So I mean, the numbers are not in a lot of people's favor.
How do you think that the talent level that you'll see in the G League compares to maybe some of the scouting that you do overseas, over in Europe? We're seeing in the NBA so many 18, 19-year-old Europeans being scouted. How do you think that matches up and compares with the G League?
So I think the league in itself has done a terrific job of putting the necessary resources to the league, to the G League, to make it the second best league, you know. And I think the NBA has done a phenomenal job, obviously adding some teams, and obviously Capital City being one of those teams. But just that I don't want to say farm team type of system, but you know, that's one of the things that really helps growth in players, you know. And if you can tell a player that he gets to stay in the States and has a chance to make it to the NBA, and there's a direct pathline or pipeline to go to the NBA, you know, maybe that's a little bit more intriguing for them to do so, opposed to going overseas and being away from their family, especially if you're 18 or 19 years old. So again, I think the league has done a terrific job in doing that. I think it's just going to continue to trend that way.
So what is Ernie and Tommy and those guys told you in terms of the synergy between the two teams, the most important part of that synergy that they need to see from your group?
The biggest thing is development, you know, and like I said earlier, the more that our staffs can be aligned, you know, we can help those players in their growth and their development. You know, if they come down to the go-go and the development shifts or the environment shifts, it's not going to be good for either the organization, whether it's the go-go or the player. So I think on top of that, you know, it's kind of a two-part deal, is creating a culture. You know, if our cultures are vastly different, it's going to be tough. I think one of the biggest things that helps and promotes development is consistency. And the more we can be consistent with our approach, with our message, with our development plans, I think that it benefits all factors.
Good. All right. Thanks.